light is red, the kids are in bed, which means it is time for Mile High Musings with me, Aaron Yowell, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
record-setting championship by a hockey team not named the Colorado Avalanche, who are playing like absolute dog crap lately. But we'll get to that. On tonight's show, we're going to talk about the Denver Pioneers' record-setting 10th NCAA Men's Hockey Championship, the Denver Nuggets clinching the 2 seed, my concerns with said Colorado Avalanche, and in crunch time, we're going to go through our Rockies week in review. But before we get to that and all that is good, let's handle our business.
For the last 9 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to keep up with the latest in sports and with our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website, iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and all of our show pages with personal bios and the podcast feed for each individual show, including this one, Mile High Musings. Check out the show page at iesportsradio.com/Mile High Musings. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, and so much more. For nearly a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans and for the fans, and we thank each and every one of you for all of your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, sports fans? It's your boy Aaron Yowell from Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. And I am super excited to tell you about a new sponsor on the network, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm's Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket beef jerky offers gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. That's my favorite part. This is some of the best beef jerky you can get your hands on. Check them out online, planetjerky.com. Once again, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that is on a whole other planet. Thank you. We are back. Welcome back to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all those sports. We got Jen and Ralph in the chat already bumping. So let's talk chips. Let's talk championships, ladies and gentlemen. This weekend, the Denver University Pioneers men's hockey team solidified themselves as a wagon, winning their record-setting 10th NCAA Men's Hockey Championship, which is unbelievable. Now, for most of my lifetime, certainly most of my adult lifetime, the Denver Pioneers have been so stinking good at ice hockey. It's just sort of a foregone conclusion. And I didn't realize how many championships they had actually won. Sorry, I'm trying to dial in the microphone here. A couple weeks ago, I was so quiet I couldn't hear myself if I cranked it all the way up when I was doing my review. But anyway, here we are. So, the boys in red traveled up to the Excel Center. Thank you, Ralph. And in the national semifinals, faced the Boston University Terriers. And that one got off to a pretty rough start. Pios got called for a penalty early, and BU's Luke Tooch scored a shorty 7:45 in. I was like, man, that sucks. What a way to start this one, huh? And I'm watching the game, trying to do a little bit of work. Woof. And it wasn't until the second period that DU evened it up. Tristan Lemaire scored at the 15:21 mark, tied things up, and then we went nothing until overtime, baby. And Tristan Bros playing the hero again, assisted by Colorado Avalanche's own Sean Behrens to win the game. Matt Davis, NCAA goalie of the month of March, Matt Davis made 33 saves in this game. 33 saves. Can't do math. In this game, and was awesome. After letting in that first shorty, which probably caught him by surprise, he shut the door, which is all you can ask for, really. And this DU team is loaded with NHL prospects, including guys going to the Avalanche, which is awesome. DU took one penalty. It was that very first one. And that was it. That was it. BU took 5 penalties. The Pios went 0 for, well, it says they took 5 in the box score here that I'm looking at, and yet it says we were 0 for 4 on the power play. I'm not really sure how that works, because we were definitely 0 for 5 on the power play. Say la vie. Anyways, all that meant was a trip to the national championship game against Boston College. Now, Boston had 2 shots at this. Had 2 shots at winning this, and DU said, no, thank you. We will take it. And this one was tight in the first period. Second period, DU opened it up and never looked back. Goals from Jared Wright and Rieger Lorenz, 6 minutes apart. Sean Behrens picks up another assist. Pios go 0 for 1 on the power play in this one. But Boston College goes 0 for 2. And old Matt Davis recorded 35 saves as the Pios beat the number 1 overall seed Boston College Eagles. Boston outshoots DU 35-26 in the game. DU wins the face-off battle. You know, it was a pretty clean game for the most part. Both teams stay out of the box. But at the end of the night, the end of the weekend, those DU Pioneers are in fact the champions and pass the University of Michigan for most NCAA hockey titles with 10. Both teams were sitting on 9. I didn't realize that my uncle was in town, CU alumni, Danielle, who we were talking about it, and just we were kind of reminiscing about, like, man, DU's been wagging for a minute, and there was a time there where DU and Colorado College were the best teams in the nation. It was crazy to think back on that. And now the Pios secure the dub. So a big fat mile high salute to you. Go Pios. And we're going to take our first break. On the other side, the defending champs are number 2. And I'm okay with it. You're listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, sports fans? You're listening to IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your favorite West Coast Wisconsinite, Bernie Bango, and if you're a cheesehead, come listen to my show, Big Cheese Sports, where we road trip around America's Dairyland, previewing, reviewing, predicting, debating, and digging into all that is Wisconsin sports at the college and pro levels. Join me on IE Sports Radio, Sundays at 1 p.m. Central Standard. Bernie out.
Shout outs to my fellow Sunday show, the Big Cheese Sports Show, with my man Bernie Bango on Sundays here on the network. Don't forget to give all of the shows on the network a listen. You can go to our website, www.iesportsradio.com, for the list of shows, times, hosts, etc. Don't forget to give all the shows and us in particular a follow over on Twitter X at IESR_Mile High Musings. For this show, been a little quiet this weekend on the Twitters because, like I said, we had a big family weekend. I was a sucker and bought my girls a puppy. And Uncle was in town from Colorado, and we had a big hailstorm come through here it's about a month ago now, and we are replacing our swing set, and so we started to kind of do that. Swing sets are beating, y'all. A beating. And if any of you have ever done a backyard project, know once you do one, you get the idea to do like 6 or 8. And so I'm trying not to do 6 or 8, but I really wanted to do 6 or 8. All of this while having a stress fracture in my foot from getting older, and it sucks. But I digress. Let's talk about more championships, hopefully, and those Denver Nuggets. We got Ricky in the chat. We got Taryn in the chat. Jen's in the chat. Ralph's in the chat. We have got a full chat tonight. Let's go. And I'm going to make y'all suffer and listen to my undying love for the Denver Nuggets. Especially you, Taryn, whom I hope we draw the Lakers after y'all win the play-in game so that we can sweep the Lakers again. A puppy, yes, a golden doodle to go with our golden retriever that we already have because I'm a sucker. Have I said that enough? I'm a sucker. Anywho, Nuggets played a couple times this weekend. They played Friday, and they played today. And Friday was more like fraud day, as it were. The Nuggets were up 23 on a bad Spurs team. They're bad. Y'all, I don't care how freakishly weird whatever Wembanyama is. They're bad. I mean, they're up 78-55 with 9:55 left in the third, and they lose by 1 with .9 to go on a fluke shot because nobody wanted to get called for a foul. Props to Devontae Graham for hitting that shot, first of all. But shame on the Nuggets for playing with their food. After last year, despite all the star appeal, do we really need Nuggets Lakers again? No, Ricky. Ricky asks, after last year, despite all the star appeal, do we really need Nuggets Lakers again? No, we don't, because we proved last year and all year this year that the Lakers cannot hang. I actually think the Pelicans aren't. I think they're a tougher matchup for us, but I don't think they get any more than 2 wins on us. Look, I'm going to tell y'all right now, the only team in the Western Conference that'll give us fits is actually the Oklahoma City Thunder. They beat us 4 times this year. I don't know that the Nuggets ever took them seriously. I don't think Minnesota's as tough a test as everybody thinks they are. That'd be a great series, but I have the most reservations against the Thunder because we couldn't beat them this year. But they're young. The Nuggets aren't as young. They won it last year. They know what it takes. OKC doesn't know what it takes. They have a great player in SGA, and they had a really good regular season. But they don't have playoff experience. So, anyways, Nuggets played with their food, got beat. Going into today's game, they were looking at the 3 seed, which would have got them a matchup with the Suns in the first round. I don't know if my heart could have taken that, but they won today and got some help. Today they beat the G League Grizzlies 126-111. The poor Grizzlies are so beat up. They're so flipping beat up. And, I know the Pels might be a worse matchup for Denver. I totally get that, Taryn. You're right. Because of their wing length. I still don't think that series goes more than 6. I'm not saying the Nuggets are going 16-4 this year. But I'm very confident in them going into the playoffs. Way more confident in them than I am in the team that we'll talk about next segment. But let's get through game 82. Before we talk Avs. Nuggets win 126-111 against the G League Grizzlies today. Nuggets starters played at most 31 minutes. Jokic logged 31 minutes. AG 26. MPJ 24. Mike. Jamal 24. KCP 25. Jamal led all Nugget scorers with 21. Jokic had 15 and 15. MPJ had 12. AG had 15. KCP had 11. CB had 19 off the bench, getting back in the playoff form. Reggie had 11 off the bench. We're going to need him. Bench was all negative. Again, because it's the bench, which will be the weak spot of our... It'll be the weak spot. But the rotation's going to shrink. And the staggers are going to be different. P. Watt had 11. Christian Brown had 19 and 10 boards and 5 assists. Like, that dude's such a spring ball merchant. I love it. I talked about it last week because he was starting to... He was back in form. He loves April. He loves it. He loves the end of the year. All the starters were plus 19 or better. So the bench was all negative. The starters were plus 19 or better. Game high plus minus for Jamal and MPJ at plus 27. So now the Nuggets sit and wait. They get the winner of the Lakers-Pelicans play-in game. And after what I've seen this team do this year, they tied a franchise... Oh, by the way, they tied a franchise record for wins in a season. What's crazy is that when they did that, I think it was... oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. George Karl. When they set the franchise record for 57 wins, that was the 4th best record in the league. 4th best. 57 wins is the 3rd best record in the league this year. I don't know. Kind of cool. But now we sit and wait. We sit and wait. We get some rest. It's going to be fantastic. Because we've got guys that are banged up. And, Jokic is already talking about going to the pool. Which means dude's going to be relaxed going into the playoffs. And that is a bad thing for just about anybody. Because you can't stop him. I mean, OKC finished with the same record as this, but they beat us in the tiebreaker. It's crazy to see that the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in the West are all from the Northwest Division. I never thought I'd see that day. Unless it was the exact opposite of the way it is this year with, like, Portland, Utah, Minnesota being the stronger seeds versus OKC and Denver and then Minnesota. I don't know. Dallas could have helped us out, too, today, but I don't think they played anybody Drewski. Did any of their players play? They got their butts whooped by OKC. Dallas would have won. Denver would have got the 1 seed. They kind of would have backed into the 1 seed, but whatever. It's fine. I'll take the 2 seed. That gives us 2 guaranteed rounds of home court. And if the Thunder gets knocked off and Boston loses, that would give us home court in the finals. So that's where we at. Now we sit and we play the waiting game. We're going to cut the Nugget segment short because I have a lot of bitching and moaning to do. So if you've got kids listening to the show, now's a good time to either put them to bed or turn it off. Because on the other side, I'm going to get pissy. We're going to talk about the Avalanche. You're listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Tonight's show, we're shouting out all the Sunday shows. Give gloves off to listen if you like to talk about people who beat other people up. We got Larry B in the chat. Larry B, Taryn, Ricky, Jen, Ralph. We're all here. And now let's talk about the Colorado Avalanche. My God. A team that was a total wagon and back up a month. Everyone's favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Right now, this host of this diehard sports fan podcast doesn't see them getting out of the first round. I don't see them getting out of the first round. Because they're playing like crap. They got beat 7-0 yesterday by the Jets, whom they will play in the first round of the playoffs, who took all 3 games off the Avalanche this year by a combined score of 17-4. They have absolutely changed the national perspective of themselves by choking in the last 4 games. If you take out the Wild. 4 of the last 5, excuse me. That's terrible. You have 2 wins against the Wild, identical 5-2 scores. But other than that, your last 10, you're 3-7. That's bad, gang. I know there's some overtime losses in there, but whatever. That's bad. That's very, very bad. Because before that, you went on a 9-game win streak. And in that 3-7, we're just going to call it 3-7 stretch, you got the shit kicked out of you by Edmonton, Dallas, and Winnipeg. Oh, and we play Edmonton again to end the year. We play Winnipeg in the playoffs, starting in Winnipeg. Because we couldn't even handle our business enough to get at least 1 round on home ice. Because we choked today. I don't even want to talk about the Jets game. I don't think the Avs even showed up at the arena that day. And we played the back-to-back, and we did the whole multiverse thing. And it started out great. Avs were up 3-0. I was like, yeah. I stopped paying attention, building that swing set. I was excited. Yeah. Goals from Ross Colton and all hail Cale Makar. In the first period, Makar's goal assisted by McKinnon and Lehkonen gives Mac 138 points on the year. And that's the thing that pisses me off the most. Yeah, oh, and they lost to the Blue Jackets. Yeah, that was in there too, Jen. That was bad. Yeah. I know, Taryn. Ducks fans. Hey, you might have a chance at the number 1 overall pick. I don't know. What's worse, Taryn? Knowing that you're in a rebuilding or thinking you're going to win the cup and then a month later knowing you're probably not getting out of the first round? We might get 4 extra games of hockey, but for what? I ask you, what's better? Anyways, that's the thing that pisses me off the most about this recent stretch, is that McKinnon was on pace to break the both Avalanche and Nordique franchise record for goals, or for points. Nope, San Jose probably has one. Touche, you're right. Mac was on pace to break the Nordique and Avalanche franchise record for points, and because of the 7-0 shellacking by Winnipeg, that's probably out the window, because he'd have to get 4 points against Edmonton. Not unheard of, because he did it against Minnesota 3 games ago, but Edmonton's a horse of a different color, for sure. Mikko scored in the second, and then the floodgates opened. VGK scored 4 unanswered, and I hate them because they're cheaters. Because they do all this long-term IR shenanigans and get a bunch of guys at the trade deadline, and then they're all of a sudden healthy for the playoffs. Whatever. I think it's bogus. But Avs couldn't stay out of the penalty box. They gave up 2 power play goals, including the overtime winner. Georgiev sucks. I'm so frustrated with him. And the Avs are in a terrible situation because Georgiev's not reliable, And you can't start Eustace Annan in game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs with only 16 career NHL starts. And he gave up 3 against Winnipeg, too. So what are you going to do? I don't think the Avs were in that game at all. I love that Cale Makar was Superman in this whole multiverse thing. I love that. I think that's fantastic. But Avs lose. And let me get to my concerns. This is going to be a short podcast, gang. Thanks for being here, because it's going to be short. I'm just looking at the clock, realizing how fast I'm talking. Here are my concerns with the Avs. Number 1, the goal. Well, let's go backwards. I'll give you my top 3 concerns with the Avalanche. Number 3, depth scoring. Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, who got his 51st goal of the year tonight and his 103rd point. Back-to-back 50-goal and 100-point seasons for Mikko. So, I think that's fantastic. Nothing to laugh about there. Just fantastic. Ross Colton scored in this game. It was a fluke. Even the announcers were like, how'd that goal go in? I don't know. Not dead sure. But we added depth guys and can't get them to score. And I know that we've been fighting the injury bug, and guys are working their way back in, and we're shuffling lines because guys are working their way back in. So I hope, I don't know, we've got a couple days off. We don't play until Thursday, so I hope we can get healthy. And does having Landeskog back make a difference? If we get the captain back, does it actually make a difference? I don't know. But depth scoring is my number 3 concern. My number 2 concern is the goaltending. And the reason it's not number 1, well, I'll get there. My number 2 concern is the goaltending. Georgiev has a hard time. It's crazy. They showed a stat on the game, and it blew my mind. Because he was, in the last 6 starts, he's 1-3-2. His goals against average is ridiculous because he's giving up touchdowns. But before that 5-6 game stretch, he was 6-0. He is the most Jekyll and Hyde fool I have ever seen in my entire life. And with Eustace Annan being so young, you can't rely on that in the playoffs. I will tell you right now, if the Avs, unless the Avalanche win the Stanley Cup and Georgiev pulls his head out of his ass, I told you to put the kids to bed or to turn it off. Unless Georgiev can figure it out, there will be a goalie controversy going into training camp next fall. And Eustace Annan has every right to that number 1 job. And I'm okay with that. Absolutely okay with that. My number 1 concern is the lack of defensive accountability in the middle of the game. The reason the Avs, in this game in particular, gave up the ghost is because they were not able to take care of the puck in their own end when they were being pressured. They were fine, and then VGK puts a little pressure on them, and they beat on their leg and they give the puck away. And it's very frustrating. And it happened in the Stars' loss. It happened in the Oilers' loss. It happened in the Blue Jackets' loss. All kinds of bad things happened in the Jets' loss. Jen says that she'll give us Ms. Lincoln's for free. I'll bypass the GM. Jen, you could be the GM. Jen, why don't you be the GM of the Blue Jackets? Since nobody wants to. Y'all have some good pieces. Boone Jenner's a good player. I wish he was an Avalanche player. Do I? I don't know. He's a good player. I don't hate him. And y'all earned every bit of that 4-1 win when we played you guys. Because there was no respect given by the Avalanche. So, our lack of puck discipline when we are pressured is what has led to, I guarantee you, 1, 2, 3, 4 of our last 5 losses. 4 of our last 5. And it's very frustrating. And that is my number one concern with the Avalanche. I do not think that they are going to win the Cup this year. You can mark it down. If they win the Cup this year, I'll do something. I'll do a challenge on it or something. I don't know. I'll shave my beard, and then my wife will hate me. But we have one more game left. The Avs are sitting on 105 points. Are third in the Central. We'll have to go up to Winnipeg and play on the road. There's this huge drop-off. 2 years ago when we won the Cup, we had 119 points. At this point in the season, yes, we played like garbage on the way out because we were resting guys. Last year, 109 points. Limped our way to a Central Division title and then got beaten 7 by the Kraken in the first round. This year, 105 points. At one point, nobody could stop us. They could only hope to contain us. And now we just suck. Yes, prayers up to the Jenners, for sure. For sure. Very sad. Very sad. If you haven't checked it out, it's sad. Jenners lost their baby boy, and it was tough. But Boone Jenner's, he's a dude, and prayers with them. Jen, why not? What do you have to lose? Send in that application for GM. I feel like this core Avalanche group is so good. McKinnon's having a hell of a year. Makar is having a, quote, down year and is having a career year in points. And we're just going to give it away. We're going to give it away. Thursday night, 7:30 Mountain on ESPN against McPickles and the Edmonton Oilers. Do I still think Nathan McKinnon is deserving of the Hart Trophy? I do. 51 goals, 87 assists, 138 points. He is a plus 34. Nikita Kucherov is a plus single digits. And McKinnon's got the best 5-on-5 point ratio in the league, and he does not poach empty nets like Kucherov. So I'll give you that. If you're not going to give it to McKinnon, you better give it to Austin Matthews. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to take one more break, and on the other side, let's talk about more losing. We'll talk about the Rockies. You're listening to Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Dentarius Live.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
Give those boys over at Fast Break a listen on Sundays before our show. They're going to have a lot to talk about because it's playoffs time. Final segment tonight on Mile High Musings here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all of the sports. Thanks to everybody who's been in the chat, been interacting. We'll end on another downer because we got to talk about the Rockies. It didn't take long for the Rockies' attendance numbers to go from respectable to almost as bad as their record, as it is. Started off with a win this week, Monday, against the Diamondbacks, a 7-5 win. Peter Lambert got his second win of the season, so at least somebody's doing something right. And, there was less than 20,000 at this game. I still think Coors Field is one of the best places to go see a game. Charlie Baseball was 2 for 4. Ezekiel Tovar, who moved up in the lineup, was 2 for 5. Ryan Mack was 3 for 5. And the Barrage was 2 for 4 in this one. K-Free started. He's been terrible. Gave up 2 earned runs. Peter Lambert came in, pitched 2 scoreless, got the dub. Can't be as bad as the A's. Actually, I was just looking at that. There are 2 teams worse than my Colorado Rockies. And that's the White Sox and the Marlins. And can the attendance be worse than the A's? No. Nothing's that bad. That's just actually sort of not fun. But then the Rocks lose 2 close ones to close out their series against Arizona. A 3-2 loss on Tuesday and a 5-3 loss on Wednesday. Thursday was a travel day. And they went up to the Great White North to play Toronto and started off with a banger. An absolute banger. A 12-4 win on Friday at the Bluebirds. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Ryan Feltner pitched 5. Got his first win of the year. Tovar led off in this game, giving Charlie Baseball the night off. And a lefty pitcher. Tovar went 2 for 5. Rymack 4 for 6. Rymack's hitting .415 at the end of this game. That's awesome. In the game, that is. In the game. Which is, that's fantastic. You hit above 300, you're doing something right. Elias Diaz, 2 for 4. It's a good night for the Rockies. Brenton Doyle, 3 for 5. It's a great night for the Rockies. Nolan Jones homered in this game. Ezekiel Tovar homered in this game. We love it. And the Rockies had this one in the bag by, gosh. They had it tied 1-1, middle of the second, gave up a run, but 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth and sixth, 2 in the seventh, and 2 in the ninth. They racked up 20 hits on the Blue Jays. You got to feel like, there's some momentum. Nah, gang, nah. 5-3 loss on Saturday. Just bad. Blackman, Tovar, Rymack, all over in the game. Brenton Doyle homered. But they gave up 5 in the first frame, and that's all the Blue Jays needed was 5. Dakota Hudson, 6-inning pitch. 5 earned runs. He shut the door, but no offensive help on the back end whatsoever. And then the Rockies closed out with a loss today, 5-0, bringing their record to 4-12 on the year. A lot of 0-fers today. Charlie Baseball 0 for 4. Rymack 0 for 3. Elias Diaz 0 for 4. Nolan Jones 0 for 4. Brenton Doyle 0 for 4. Barrage 0 for 3. Jacob Stallings 0 for 2. K-Free again. K-Free again with the loss. K-Free's ERA is 13. K-Free's done. I was so in for K-Free to be good and back. You can go back and listen to all the episodes prior to this. I was so wanting K-Free to do work. He's terrible. 4-12 on the year, and now we travel to Philly next. And Philly is 8-8, sitting behind the Braves in the NL East. 3-game set against the Phillies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then home Friday, Saturday, Sunday to play the Mariners. So, tough sled ahead for those Rockies. I'm losing my voice. I got to get out of here. Thank you, everyone, for being in the chat, for being with us tonight. Big shout out to everybody who was interacting. We're glad you're here. I will say that I'm looking forward to the playoffs. Whatever the Abs do, maybe everybody will sleep on them and they'll do work. And then there's the Nuggets. So a big fat mile high salute to you and yours. Everybody have a great week. And don't forget to stay good, sports fans.
In this house, we praise the Lord and cheer for them Denver Broncos.